What?
I found rubbish in my bedroom.
Oh.
I'm going to you.
So you figured out the bedroom. So you keep talking.
I thought I would have space wallpaper. Dad, were you that guy in real life?
Yeah, that's me.
What did you do?
I was a space marine.
Did you go to space?
Yeah. I put on my red armor.
Ooh. That's so cool.
Yeah, you think that's cool? Just the same as last night. You're thinking about going to bed soon, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know you're thinking about it.
No, it's not
You don't know. Maybe. How about bed now? How about bed now? How about bed now? Right, come on, ahead.
Greetings, brothers. Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.
Hello, good evening, friends. Sorry we are late tonight to start with. Hopefully, if you watched last night's stream, you know that I'm having real trouble getting my daughter to go to sleep. So hopefully she's away now. I'd say I'd be willing, if I was a betting man, I would bet some money on the fact that she will come back and interrupt us at some point during the stream. But welcome to our Sunday night Army List show. Nice to see you guys. Henry, nice to see you. Mike, Alpha Core, Benjamin, Bad Francis, who else is here? Peter's here. Aradine, good evening. Quaydog. Quaydog's always first in the stream. Hello, Quay. And Janter became a battle member. Thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. It is super appreciated. If you want to get your list on the show, it's pretty simple. At the end of the stream, you just put your list into the comment section, right? And then there's a good chance you'll be on the show in the next couple of weeks. In fact, I guess we're at the point now where we're near the end of the edition, and I'm not getting as many submissions as maybe I once was. I think it's just because we've literally done 1,000 Liberator Assault Group army lists on the show by this point. Like, for weeks and weeks and weeks, it was like 5 Liberator Assault Group lists, 5 Liberator Assault Group lists. So I think we're probably at a point where we've covered just about everything we can with those. So you could submit your list. And you should get on the show before not too long. So we're getting dived into it tonight. Hello, Crazy Cat. Hello, Andre Marius. Good evening. Lord Grandmaster is here as well. Hello. Cool. All right, lots of people in the house. If you get 2 seconds tonight as well, guys, if you can just hit the like button at some point, I do appreciate it. It does help me out ever so much here on YouTube. So onwards and upwards, I guess. Chris Catherwood, who has been a member of the channel for 4.5 years. I don't think Chris has actually submitted a list before, so thank you so much for being a member for 4.5 years. Pretty crazy. I'm loving your content. I thought the inclusion about Vanguard Veterans my newest list. Here's the new version that's up for review. It's updated after I played a first game. Cool. Okay. So we are looking at Liberator Assault Group. We are looking at 2,000 points, and we've got an Allied Knight because sometimes you just need to bring the biggest gun in the room, right? Which is the Volcano Lance, of course. I personally don't really like the Castellan because the Volcano Cannon is just so damn swingy in that it's D3 shots. If it was 3 shots, I might be okay with it. But yeah, just 3 shots feels very, very swingy. Or D3 rather. You only hit on 3 ups, there's no real way to reroll unless you're going to burn a command point on it, so sometimes it just massively underperforms, I feel like. I've tried running the Castellan. I think, personally, I just prefer running like a few Vindicator tanks or a few Predators, or you know, like, spending its 410 points in like fire support that can benefit from Oath of Moment is probably my preferred option. Alright, Dante, a Phobos captain. We don't see him very often. A captain with a jump pack with a relic shield. A captain on a bike. Again, we don't see him very often. He has actually the fight first enhancement and a Judicaire. So we're expecting some Blade Guard to be with the Judicaire with certain expecting some infiltrators. We've got 2 big squads of Sangard, one with blades, one with spears. Cool, that makes sense. We've got 3 Outriders times 2, so one of them will be with the Chaplain, and they have fight first. I don't know if I'm excited about fight first with chainswords. And it's not even that many chainswords, is it, right? Like, it's 12 chainsword attacks from the Vikes, and like 4 Crozius attacks. It's not a very scary fight first combo, right? Like, for argument's sake, in this list, I would just instantly move that Speed of the Primarch from the bikes to the Captain that's with the 6 Sangry Guard. Because 6 Sangry Guard having, like, what? They get 4 attacks each, right? 6 4s, I should be able to do that in my head. 24. They get 24 AP3 2 damage attacks at higher strength. Like, that seems to me like a lot better than 12 chainsword attacks, right? The bike's only good as well on the charge. They get +1 strength, +1 attack on, or +1 strength, +1 damage on the charge, so they're much weaker. So straight away I would switch this enhancement. That should just be on that Captain with the jump pack. It'd be better. It means you can stage the Sangry Guard behind a wall and they can be nigh on unchargeable almost. You have a Battle Predator and you have an Impulsor. The Blade Guard will be in the Impulsor. Okay. And then you've got the Night Castellan, and that is the whole list. Yeah, move it to the Captain. It's much better there. So you've got an Impulsor and Battle Predator you can push onto objectives in the early game. You've got the Captain and Phobos armor. Who the hell is he with, by the way? He's with the Infiltrators, I guess? You don't see that very often. Captain and Phobos armor. What even, like, I'm just like, what even is a Captain and Phobos armor? Captain and Phobos armor is a Captain with the standard rights of battle, some redeploy shenanigans, a combat knife, and a bolt. And a precision bolt carbine. He's a bit all over the place, isn't he? He's not exactly great. I guess he goes with the Infiltrators though, right? Like, I don't think he would be going anywhere else. So the Captain of Phobos armor lets you redeploy your infantry units at the start of the game. Fine. I heard from an inside source that the updated Vanguard veterans will be in the 11th edition box. I think Valrak's been saying that for like 6 months. I think I trust his judgment on that because Sternguard were in the last. They were in the 10th edition box, right? So I think the Vanguard veterans with jump packs will be in the 11th edition box. I think you're probably right. Okay, I mean, my opinion of the list is like, personally, like I said, I don't really like the Castellan. Some turns it will shoot and destroy a lot of stuff. Sometimes it will shoot and destroy nothing. 2 units of Sangry Guard attached by characters. That's good amount of damage, but it's kind of 2 Death Stars. They are very expensive, those 2 units. You got Outriders to contest some stuff. You've got an Impulsor and some Ball Predators to be on side-field objectives. You've got some Infiltrators to do some screening. You got some Fight First Blade Guard. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you don't have any dedicated scoring units, which could be a problem. You know, like lots of people take Scouts because Scouts are a cool dedicated scoring unit, or Jump Pack Intercessors. It's also somewhat surprising you have no Jump Pack Intercessors, being that they are some of the best. Like, arguably, they're kind of the best unit in, like, point for point, they're just an absolute great unit in Liberator Assault Group. I guess when you put a Ball Predator and a Castellan into the list, you put a lot of eggs are in that shooting basket. You know, like, if you did like 2 Ballistus Dreadnoughts, you could save 110 points. You could take that enhancement off. You'd have like 135 points. Yeah, I mean, at that point, you could almost drop 1 squad of Sangry Guard to to a 3 and add 3 units of jump intercessors, right? Like, jump intercessors 3 units is like 270 points. That would be exactly that. So it really depends. Like, if you like the Castellan and think there's value in that, then by all means take it. I think if you're going to a tournament, you'll be underwhelmed with the Castellan. It's not reliable over 5 games. And I guess that's the one thing to be aware of. Like, it'll do great in 2 games, but it'll also do nothing in 2 games, right? Like, it's just not an overly reliable unit because it doesn't have any weight of fire, and it doesn't have any rerolls to hit, right? So it's fine. It can, you know, there's plenty of times where a Castellan one-shots a Land Raider, but there's also plenty of times where a Castellan shoots all its guns and literally does no damage. So it's okay. I personally would invest in the Blood Angels vehicles, the Primaris ones, because we don't, you know, Gladiator Lancers are a good one because they also can be used as impulsors, or you can magnetize the turrets. Ballistus Dreadnoughts are also very popular this edition. I think they are better investments than the Castellan. But come 11th edition, we'll be replacing all the jump pack intercessors with Vanguard veterans. I don't know if we will. If they're, I mean, if you go back to look at Blood Angels over the last few editions, if there's a cheap unit that does a lot of damage and is super tradable, which is what jump intercessors are, then they'll always have a place in Blood Angels, right? Like, Vanguard veterans are going to have a hell of a data sheet to sideline jump intercessors, just because jump intercessors are cheap, right? And like at 90 points, you can just jump them in, and if all 5 of them die, you don't even care. It's like if they just get their like 25 chainsword attacks off and their mortal wounds for 90 points, you don't really care. And you need disposable units in a list. You know, you've got no scouts, you've got no lone operatives. I think some improvements could be made. I don't think attaching a chaplain to Outriders is all that meaningful. Outriders for me are like, they're cheap units that just die on the flank. They will kill, they kill trash, but they don't kill anything beyond trash. In a way, Outriders are like jump intercessors, but maybe just a little bit worse. A little bit worse in terms of damage, a little bit better in terms of durability. But yeah, I mean, I feel like personally I don't run 2 massive units of Sanguinary Guard just because that's so many points. And I don't overly like the Castellan. I don't think that the Phobos Captain is all that competitive. And I definitely wouldn't put Speed of the Primarch on the Chaplain with the bike. And honestly, I've done Chaplain on the bike with Outriders, and I don't think you need the Chaplain on the bike. I would take that points and move them elsewhere. Like, the one thing to say about this list is, like, if we talk about, like, that's what I was, you know, I'm saying, like, jump intercessors are just a unit you can just jump 5 in, kill a weak enemy on an objective, take the objective, and yeah, there's a good chance you get blown off that objective, but it's 90 points to deny like 5 primary points, right? So I think Liberator Assault Group excels. Jump intercessors excel in this detachment, and you should have some. And if you don't have any jump intercessors, then I guess that's the next thing you should be buying, Chris. And I think jump intercessors are still going to be totally valid in 11th edition. I think they'll still be strong. In fact, I think I've got like 20. I think I've fully painted 5. I think I have 5 half painted, and I think I've got 10 or 15 more on the painting table. Like, jump intercessors are just the core of Liberator Assault Group, really. They're probably going to be the core of the new detachment in the new edition. I don't like the Sanguinar in Liberator Assault Group. I think I prefer Mephiston. Alright, Gidos777. He is our second list for today. He went to a tournament in London. He managed to beat one opponent in Dukari. He plans to go to the Leicester GT tournament to win at least 2 games. What do you think of the list? Alright, cool. So we've got Rage Fueled Captain with the Mastercrafted Chainsword straight and a bolt pistol. Straight away I'd change these, right? Like, the Captain should have a plasma pistol. If it's a Blood Angels captain, you'd probably I would probably take the Plasma Pistol. You could take an Infernal, but I would definitely not take the Heavy Bolt Pistol. I also wouldn't take the Mastercrafted Chainsword. I'd take the Power Fist. The Mastercrafted Chainsword has half the AP and half the strength. And I think you get like 1 extra attack. Even if it's 2 extra attacks, I'd still take the Power Fist. Alright, so you get 2... So, on the charge, you get 8 attacks at Strength 6, -1, 2. Or you get 6 attacks at Strength 10, -2, 2. I think I'm 6 at 10 versus 8 at 6. I think I take the 6 and 10 every single time, right? Like, so, Ragefield Captain, I guess you could argue that he's going to be with Assault Intercessors and you're just going to fish for 6s. But I think personally I'd just take the 10-2 because I think the Power Fist is just much better. And you only have Rage Fueled Captain. You only have the Rage for 1 turn, right? You can only do Finest Hour once per game. So assume that he comes out of an Impulsor. I hope he's got an Impulsor. He doesn't have an Impulsor. Damn it. Damn it! Okay, I'll probably recommend you put an Impulsor, but the plan with this guy is you probably in the Impulsor with Assault Intercessors, you disembark, you move, you advance, you charge, you use his Ragefield Warrior, use his Finest Hour, he kills something, and hopefully he's still alive to kill something the following turn as well. Like that's the play for him. And then at that point, I think a Power Fist is just way better than a Mastercrafted Chainsword. We have a captain with the Jump Pack Speed, the Primarch, we have Mephiston, we have another Judiciar, and we have the Sanguinar. I personally don't think you should take Mephiston and the Sanguinar. I've played against... This is Liberator Assault Group, right? I've played against a Liberator Assault Group list in a tournament that had these 2 characters. These characters are utility characters. I feel like they're not damage-dealing characters. So when you put them both together, it's like 250 points. So you're spending 1/8 of your army on like utility characters. They don't do any damage. Like, I suppose occasionally Mephiston can do like 6 to 8 damage. Occasionally the Sanguinar will do 6 to 8 damage. But most of the time, these guys will do like less than 4 damage. I would say on average they probably do, both of them do less than 4 damage in any combat. That's probably average. So you're paying 260 points to do 4 damage in combat. It's pretty bad, right? We talked about Jump Intercessors just a minute ago. Like, if you spent 260 points on Jump Intercessors, that gives you 3 squads. That gives you 8 mortal wounds straight away. And then you've got, like, what, 75 Chainsword attacks on top? So, like, these are utility characters. They don't do damage. I don't take both of them. I think there's room for one of them. I think there might be room for one of them and the Phobos Lieutenant. But I don't think there's room for both of them at 260 points. And like I said, when I was playing against Blood Angels in a tournament, and he was running Liberator Assault Group, and he had both those characters, I think he had Dante as well, I just actually felt that the game was mine. Like, he couldn't do enough damage back to me. Okay, Assault Intercessor Squad. So they'll be with the Rage Captain. A regular 10-man Intercessor. I don't think you need 10 intercessors. Like if anything, you should split this into 2 5s. There's almost no advantage to having it in the 10. I don't know what the advantage would be to have it in the 10. And it's a sticky objective squad, so if you have them in 2 places, you could arguably sticky 2 objectives. You get less special weapons in the 10. You're more vulnerable to blast. I have no idea. Like, what would be the advantage of having 10 intercessors? You get 40 bolters. Well, you would still get the same 40 bolters if it's 2 squads of 5, Mike. And if anything, you're more flexible because you can pick 2 targets. Okay. We have 10 jump pack intercessors. Cool. We have a ball predator. We have blade guard, 6 and a 3. We have a lancer. We have 6 angry guard. We have unit of scouts and a vindicator tank. So there's a little bit of a mishmash in terms of tanks, but I think it works, right? A lancer, a vindicator, and the ball. So you've got something to push forward, something to sit back, and something to do sort of middle. But totally fine with that. 6 blade guard, I'm good with that. 6 angry guard, I'm good with that. Unit of scouts. The 3 blade guard is fine. The 10 jump intercessors is fine. 10 jump intercessors with a chaplain is actually pretty good. So I would probably take Mephiston or the Sanguinar, and I would lose one of them and probably put a chaplain leading this unit, because that unit gets pretty crazy if you've got the chaplain in it. You could argue a captain could work as well, but I think the chaplain for the +1 to wound is just very good. Just because you get so many chainsword attacks out of that unit. Very good at killing demons as well, if you have problems with demons. And a lot of mortals. A lot of mortals on the charge as well from that, because you would get 11 plus D3 potentially. So you could do up to like 14 mortals with the jump intercessors and the chaplain. So I think if this was me, I would probably cut 5 intercessors. I'd probably cut the Sanguinar personally, because I don't really like him. That gives me 220 points. I'd probably add the chaplain to the jump intercessors. I think that leaves me like 145 points. I'd probably add an impulsor, because I think the assault intercessors are much better if they're in the impulsor with the captain. So that leaves us like 65 points. Oh, we're super close to having that combi weapon lieutenant in there at that point, aren't we? Is there anything else we can do with 65 points? That's super close. That would probably round out the list really nicely, actually, the combi weapon lieutenant. But I'm sure there's something you could do with those 65 points. I mean, you've got 3 vehicles. Worst case, you could take a tech marine. A Vindicator tank getting +1 to hit doesn't hurt it. I would not take the ATV, man. Come on. Come on, ATVs are not a competitive unit, are they? Don't make me buy one when I'm in the Games Workshop store next week. Good evening, Kylan Phoenix. Yeah, so this list is it needs some. If you want to win more games in tournaments, I think it needs tweaks. I personally wouldn't ever run 10 intercessors. I run 5. I think that the impulsor is so important. Like, if you can just make one change, like the simplest change in this list is just get rid of 5 intercessors, get an impulsor, right? Like, that is the simplest, easiest improvement to this list. Dutch says, I'm a firm believer that running a Castellan Knight instead of running 2 tanks and maybe a character is far more efficient and effective in my lag list. I'm curious to see if anyone else has done so. You know, I tried the Castellan, Dutch, and I have tried, like, I want to say, like, 2 Predator Destructors and a Ballistus Dreadnought. And all I know is that I won a GT. You know, first place. I got the trophy to prove it. I did first place when I ran the 2 Destructors. 2 Predator Destructors and a Ballistus Dreadnought. That was my combo for the GT that I won. So I guess I am skewed. I prefer running the 3 Blood Angels tanks. The thing is, I play against a lot of really heavy infantry, and Predator Destructors are amazing at heavy infantry because the autocannon was flat 3 damage. And I think the autocannon gets 6 shots rapid fire, and you could oath the moment it. So you potentially get 12 AP2 rapid, 12 shots, re-rolling all hits, AP2 flat 3 damage. It's like, they're not like, it really depends on your meta, I suppose. But in my meta, that was the golden ticket for me. So yeah, you know, if you're running a Blood Angels list where you don't need Oath of Moment on your other units, you know, you've got Death Company, they reroll hits, you've got Sanguinary Guard with Dante or something, they hit on 2s, you're running Angelic Inheritors or something, you can reroll 1s to hit. If you don't need Oath of Moment elsewhere and you can put it on the target of like a Predator Destructor or something like that, it can make a big difference. Yeah, so the simplest fix in this list is the Impulsor. Beyond that, I think probably flip out one of those 2, Mephiston or the Sanguinar. I don't think you want both of them. I've been running Mephiston a lot recently. Before that, I ran the Sanguinar a bit. I think I just prefer Mephiston because he's cheaper in points. And he survives a bit better. Like, the Sanguinar coming in from reserve is very, very strong, but there's also a bunch of armies where he's just not that useful. Like, you play Death Guard, literally everything in Death Guard is greater than Toughness 6. So the Sanguinar just never has good wound rolls against that. A Land Raider is 220 points. Land Raiders are hard to maneuver, man, and they're bullet magnets. So, yeah, if the Knight performs better for you, by all means, dude. I mean, I just give you my opinion on this channel. I'm no friggin' expert. I win the odd tournament. I've won 2 tournaments in 10th edition. That's it. Normally I get to the final table and then capitulate. So I get to the final table and capitulate more often than I win the tournament. So take what you will from that, right? All right, Zakoon. I had my first GT last week. I went 4-1. 4-1 your first GT is fucking awesome. Well done. I think my first G, maybe I did 2-3 or 3-2 or something. I lost the 4th game to a Martyr's Blessing playing first. Brutal. I think his list lost like 270 points in the update that we locked in our lists a few days before that. That shit always happens. There's always somebody at a tournament with a super strong list. In the future, one time it will be you. I kind of think that the times that I won tournaments, my list was very strong, right? Like, it's not rocket science. You go to the tournament, you feel your list is very strong, you win the tournament. Hello, little lady. Are you back?
Yeah, again.
You're what?
I'm not happy again.
You're not happy again?
My bed. My blanket is messy.
Your blanket is
It's
messy.
dirty because half of it's black and it isn't supposed to be black there.
Why is your blanket black?
I don't know.
Alright, do you need me to tuck you in again?
I think I wasn't really doing anything to make it.
Alright, I'll fix it. I'll be back, guys. Come on, you. Well, I said if you were a betting man, you would win some money when she was back. I would say 50-50, she'll be back again. Alright, sorry, where was I? Yeah, so, okay, let's look at the list and then let's come back to see what he said about how he put stuff in reserve and stuff. So we've got a captain. I typically don't rate the Mastercrafted Bolter. I usually always put a plasma pistol on my captains, right? Fight First Chaplain, I assume he's going to be with Blade Guard. 2 Jump Chaplains, I assume they're going to be with probably 5 Death Company or Combi Weapon Lieutenant. Okay, and this is Liberator Assault Group again. Assault Intercessors on foot, so I'm expecting an Impulsor. 2nd Impulsor probably for the Blade Guard with Fight First Chaplain. Chaplain, excuse me. So we've got 10 Assault Intercessors with jump packs. Oh, 10 Assault Intercessors with jump packs. Okay, so there's probably going to be just a Chaplain with each of the 10 Assault Intercessors jump packs. That's what I was recommending on the last list you should do. We've got 12 Blade Guard, a 6 and a 6. I assume one will be with the Fight First Chaplain. We've got 5 Death Company, we've got 5 Infiltrators, we've got 3 Outriders, we've got Scouts, and then we've got the familiar Double Vindicator tank. Okay, so Double Vindicator tank is the fire support. Infiltrators will screen out the backfield. 20 Jump Intercessors, 2 Impulsors, 2 squads of Blade Guard, a squad of Outriders, and a squad of Death Company. So notably, no Sangre Guard, nothing like that. I kept the Death Company and the Chaplain in Deep Strike, and a Vindicator in Strategic Reserves most games. You know what? I was playing a list for a while, actually, where I put a Vindicator in reserve every single game, and it was Liberator Assault Group. And I mean, a Vindicator coming in from the edge of the board, oath of moment, and into target, and just going for it is usually pretty darn effective. I usually jump the Fight First Blade Guard out of their Impulsor into Ruin, and put the Captain plus Assault Intercessors in a turn 1 shuffle up the board. I like to play list. I love all the +1 to wound, but shooting was lacking somewhat. In some games I felt I would love to have more shooting units. I'm looking for some more tweaks to the list. Do you know what? Blood Angels are an army that typically lacks shooting. Like, the things that people seem to add are Inceptors. Inceptors seem to be a very popular choice. I really struggle with Inceptors. I feel like every single week I shoot my Inceptors. I hazardous them. Like, I always seem to, like, every single week when I shoot 6 Inceptors, 2 of them fucking die to hazardous. Like, it's almost clockwork. But Inceptors are a very popular pick. In Liberator Assault Group, I'm trying to think what the other popular pick is. It's probably Ballistus Dreadnoughts. It's possibly, like I said, Predator Destructors are okay choice. Some people run Gladiator Lancers. If you're running 2 Vindicator tanks, probably wouldn't recommend running Lancer as well. The other choice is maybe some people do Desolation Marines, but that's more common in Angelic Inheritors. I think if you're running the 2 Vindicator tanks, you don't have a ton of space there, right? Like, you got room. If you want something else that is shooting, you know, company heroes do a bit of shooting. They can go inside an Impulsor. It can be okay. I mean, the problem is if you're going to run 20 Jump Intercessors and 12 Blade Guard, right? Like, for a while there, when the Blood Angels Codex was really bad, that was the way to how to run Blood Angels, right? You ran Blood Angels with, you actually ran Blood Angels with something like 25 Jump Intercessors and like 18 Blade Guard, and you did really die. You did really base your entire list around the Blade Guard and the Jump Intercessors. So they are somewhat carrying this list anyway. You got Outriders to put on a side field objective. Here's a question, right? Like, if you've got 2 Impulsors, what are the Outriders adding? And you've got a Lone Operative as well. Because the way I see it is, like, on the game map of 40k, what you're going to have is you're going to have your home field objective, which you've got your infiltrators on, or if you had intercessors, it would be intercessors. Regardless, you got a unit on your home field objective, right? Then you have like a side objective, which we sometimes might want to call like your natural. Some people call it your natural. That's more like a thing that's like come over from StarCraft. Warhammer 40k tournament map. Let me see if I can just pull up a map with objectives. That's what I'm looking for. Tournament map. This isn't the best one, but no, this one. We'll use this one. I just want the map. Come on. God, I hate it when you click on an image. Open image in new tab. There we go, right? Yeah. So in this one, your deployment zone is obviously the green area or the red area. Let's assume your deployment zone is the green area, right? So you stage something behind this ruin here with the intent of moving into this cover and taking this. Or if you have a lone operative lieutenant or something like that, you can just literally start him here. And then straight away you have the two, you have your home field objective and you have what some people are calling like their natural expansion, right? In StarCraft, if you ever played StarCraft, you walk down the hill from your main base and there was like a gold mine or a mineral mine or whatever the fuck it was called, Vespian gas, something like that. And that's going to be your natural, right? You could literally start unit jump intercessors here. You could advance them onto this objective. The other thing you could probably do is you could actually just start an impulsor here. They move 12 plus an advance plus a disembark if you need it. So the impulsor could just like go straight into that cover, take that objective. So you've got two impulsors, and you've got a lone operative. And the lone operative infiltrates. So the lone operative can actually start here, in the middle, behind this wall, holding this objective. He's got a reactive move, so ideally he can't be shot, he can't be charged. Your impulsor or jump intercessors come over here as well. So my question is like, what in this list, why do you need the Outriders as well, right? Because that's what the Outriders do. The Outriders go for your natural expansion, right? Outriders are never going to survive in the middle. They're only 3 guys with toughness 5. So if you did start them back here and you advance them into the middle, they're going to get shot and killed. So if you've got unit Outriders, the play for the Outriders is to get them on the natural. But you already got 2 impulsors. So I feel like the Outriders in this list are definitely up for cut. Like, if we want to get another unit in or we want to make a change, I feel like it has to be the Outriders. Another change, I suppose, is you could take one of these squads of Blade Guard or one of these squads of Jump Intercessors and half them and get half the points back. And then that gives you the Outriders points plus that, which ends up being like 160 points, which 160 points is a Gladiator tank, or it is a Ballistus Dreadnought. Or it is probably 3 Inceptors and some points left over for an enhancement, like Rage Fueled Captain or something like that. So I think that should play. I'm trying to think, like, my most successful Liberator Assault Group list, I think, was the 3 tanks and 1 Impulsor. And then I did 2 Outriders, 2 Jump Intercessors in the minimum sizes. And then a big squad of Death Company and a big squad of Sangre Guard. But I have run lists that I do 2 Impulsors, and I think that if I run the lists with 2 Impulsors, I'm not sure the Outriders are needed. I mean, if you're desperate to keep the Outriders, the other choice is you half one of these units of Jump Intercessors and you half one of these units of Blade Guard, and that gives you the points you need as well to get another unit. If you're low in shooting, Hellblast, like, I really like Hellblasters, I really like Inceptors, but I think the more common choice in Liberator Assault Groups is Ballistus Dreadnoughts. Ballistus Dreadnoughts seem to be the most common choice for people. I still like Predator Destructors. But I play Death Guard a lot, and Predator Destructors are not great against Death Guard anymore. They were great when Death Shroud had 3 wounds. They're probably great against Deathwing Knights as well at one point, but they've definitely fallen away, I guess. So Ballistus Dreadnoughts seem to be the better choice now. Probably more survivable, probably more OC. But yeah, I mean, congrats on going 4-1. The thing is, see if you have a list that you're like 4-1, and you're going to go to another tournament. The trick is to not change too much, man. Like, so you want to change as minimal as possible. You want to identify like one weakness and change that, and not go overboard. Because losing one game is, you know, it could have just been like you rolled a bad save for a turn, right? If you only lose one time in 5 games, you're pretty fucking close. For example, I'm playing this Angelic Inheritors list. I think I've played it like 8 or 9 times now. Might even be approaching 10 times I've played. It's not the identical list. I've made like the minor changes. You know, like I've changed one unit in it a few times. But I've played this Angelic Inheritors list, I think, 10 times. Let's just say 10 times now. Changing only like changing less than 100 points each time. I think I've actually made like changes 3 times, and I've played it 10 times. I have lost a couple of games with this list. I've lost by 1 point twice, I believe, and I've won by like 1 point twice, I believe, and then I've got 6 decent wins. But I'm like, you can't win every game, and you do have bad games, and you do make mistakes. So if I've played 10 games, and I've won 8, and I've lost 2, but only by 1 point, I'm not going to change that list. I'm going to take it to a tournament, even though it's lost 2 games by 1 point, and be like, I think maybe I can play it better. Maybe I can make up that 1 point on the bad experience I had, right? So, yeah, I think the trick is to not change too much, man. Which can be tricky, right? Because You can go down the rabbit hole sometimes. Okay, the Legion BBC 2. Strange name. I hope he means British Broadcasting Corporation and not the other meaning of BBC, but we'll take it. We'll assume that if you don't know that meaning, maybe it should be a happy day for you anyway. Hello, John. This is your thoughts on a list I'm thinking about for Angelic Inheritors. Alright, so we've got Dante plus 3 Sanguinary Guard. I fucking hate Dante. Because he doesn't put the Angelic Inheritors onto Strength 7. I think Strength 7 for the Sanguinary Guard in this detachment is so important. Because Strength 7 lets you wound Toughness 12 on 4-ups. So if you ever fight anything that's Toughness 12, Dante and the Sanguinary Guard cannot do any damage to it. So I kind of hate that. Like, I just don't think you need Dante in this detachment. I would just take a captain with a jump pack and get my Sanguinary Guard onto Strength 7. We've got another squad of Sanguinary Guard with a 6-inch pre-game move. We've got another squad of Sanguinary Guard with a you cannot shoot Overwatch against us. We have the Combi Weapon Lieutenant. We have the Sanguinar and Mephiston. Like, this is crazy, right? Like, this is just... You do not need the 3 lone operatives. Like... I already said this is too many points that they don't do any damage. So this is even more points that don't do any damage. A unit of intercessors for sticky objective. A unit of incursors for pre-game move and +1 to hit and shooting. Unit of scouts. 3 Centurion Devastators. 6 Inceptors. 2 squads of Vindicator tanks. And that is 2,000 points. What do you think? I'm not sure you need the incursors because you're not going to use your Oath of Moment on any of your melee units, so you're going to be using Oath of Moment on your shooting targets anyway. Devastators get to reroll their shooting anyway, so it's basically you're going to use Oath of Moment on your Vindicators or your Inceptors target. So do you really need the +1 to hit? I mean, maybe. What would be better is ignore cover, right? Like, if you could bring one of those storm speeders that has the ignore cover, that would be better than +1 to hit, in my opinion. Alright, I've never used Centurions before. I thought they would fit well in the overall strategy. They shoot very well, and they're more flexible. For example, the last cabin Devastators than I've seen in other lists. They don't need characters since they always reroll hits, and they reroll wounds. They're slow as fuck, but I figure I wouldn't need to move them much. Furthermore, their toughness 7, 2-up, 4 wound save. Let me use the 18-inch lone op strat on another more delicate unit. Does this make any sense? I mean, Centurions are great, man. Because their las cannons are twin linked, they're kind of one of the best shooting units that we can literally put in a list. The issue is that they move 4 inches. So you probably want to start them in reserve and bring them in from the edge of the board so they can at least see something. But then after that, you are struggling to move them around the board. I've used Centurions for a while, man. I used them in the detachment where you could advance and charge. I still think they're slow as fuck. 4-inch move is kind of tragic. 4 inches is nothing, man. It's amazing how bad 4-inch feels compared to 6-inch. You know? Like, 6-inch feels but 4-inch just feels so bad. I was left with another 160 points to cover. I've opted for Mephiston to give both captains for scout move and ignoring Overwatch. Another option was to insert 5 Hellblasters with Apocryph 3. Maybe they're too small of a squad to matter. Do you know what? I think 5 Hellblasters and Apothecary are a great unit in Angelic Inheritors. I don't think you want this many lone operative characters. I really don't. I like, you know, if I look at my Angelic Inheritors list right now, I think I've got 4 characters. I think I spend... I'm going to check. I think I spend, like... oh no, I've got 5. 150, 200... I spend 370 points on characters. What you got here? 215... 310... 570... So 665, I spent, what did I say I spent? 370. 665 versus 370. So you're spending 300 more points on characters than I am. Which is pretty crazy. Like, it's 300 points. Like, that's a bunch of Sangre Guard. Like, I definitely feel as well, having played Angelic Inheritors a lot, and having played the 3 squads of 3 a lot, I feel like I personally feel like I need 1 squad of 6 Sangre Guard. I just feel like I need that. I need the punch from it. I need to be able to put them into reserve. The Centurions are devastating, man. They're just so fucking slow. Which just makes them really hard to play, right? Like, maybe if you had a way of, like, a strat for advance and shoot, like the Stormlance detachment has. But yeah, without it, point for point, Centurions do great damage. They're just fucking slow. Yeah, so I would try and get rid of a couple of characters, probably. I feel like it's probably too much, and I feel like I would probably try and make one of those squads of Sangre Guard a 6. I mean, you've got scouts for... You've got scouts for scoring. I also feel like, having played Angelic Inheritors a lot, I feel like I really like having an Impulsor in Angelic Inheritors. The last tournament it was at, I did not have an Impulsor. And I feel like it's just so damn useful for getting a unit where they need to be, like the Hellblasters, or, you know, before that I was using Company Heroes. So damn useful for getting a unit where it needs to be, and then at that point it's just a glorified sit on an objective and cleanse, or sit on an objective and score primary, but it's durable and it's cheap. And there's something to be said about just durable, cheap shit that can sit on an objective. But yeah, I think you have to cut one of these 2 characters, 100%. And I think I'd probably use the points to make one of the units of Sangre Guard into a 6. And I think possibly you could probably cut the Incursors as well. And you could get an Impulsor. I get +1 to hit can be useful, but like I said, you're probably going to be using Oath of Moment a lot in your shooting. I mean, in Angelic Inheritors, all your melee combat, all your character-based units... Oh, shit. All your character-based units are not needing your Oath of Moment. So you use it for your shooting anyway, right? Okay, moving on. McFadden has tried to make a list. I thought it was actually a Lost Brethren list. But he said, I tried to make a Lost Brethren list, but 0 OC does not make for a fun army gimmick. So he's made Angelic Inheritors. Okay, so cool. It's nice to see some Angelic Inheritors. I actually thought we were going to get a Lost Brethren list this week, but alas, not to be, unfortunately. Not a surprise, I guess. Not many people are playing Lost Brethren. From time to time, I do go over to Stat Check. Let's have a look this week and see what the Stat Check looked like. This week in the 10th edition meta, for Blood Angels, they had an overall win rate of 47%, which is pretty bad. Their overrep was 0.81. Their 4-0 event start was only 3%. They did have 2 event wins, and overall 4% of the tournament population were playing Blood Angels. But somebody played First Company Task Force and actually went 4-1. 35 players playing Angelic Inheritors, 117 playing Liberator Assault Group. A big swing this week, actually. Angelic Inheritors a whole 9% higher win rate than Liberator Assault Group. 1 player played Angelic Host, he got a 40% win rate. 1 player played the Lost Brethren and got a 33% win rate. And 1 player played Stormlance and got a terrible 25% win rate. So yeah, Liberator is still taking all the, Liberator is still hogging all the players, but Angelic Inheritor still keeps outperforming them, and the other detachments just don't get anything whatsoever. Okay, it's like standard, right? We've seen that pattern for like the last year. It's not going to change. That's the status quo for this edition. Love it or hate it. I think I hate it a little bit now, but we'll still cover it. Like it's just been very flat. I feel like this edition, right? Like it just feels flat in that like we know exactly what you get from each of the detachments, and there's not too much flexibility in there. All right, a captain with a jump pack with 10 Vanguard veterans. The Vanguard veterans are armed with no special pistols. I assume that you meant to remove the bolt pistols and give them a special pistol. Being at McFatson, he'd probably replace them with 10 hand flamers if that was an option. I worry that's an option, because if that is an option, that'll be what McFatson does, because he's got a hard on for flamers. But you probably want to replace the Vanguard veterans' pistols with infernal pistols or plasma pistols. McFatson will 100% have replaced them with 10 hand flamers. So let's go on the assumption that this is 9 times hand flamer. He always does this. He's the only person that's dedicated to flamers. The rest of us are like, no, hand flamers at strength 3 are shit. He's like, everybody will have a hand flamer. He then has a jump pack captain for the Death Company with a hand flamer. And he has eviscerators, infernal pistol, plasma pistols, power fists. I think he's actually missing a power fist here. I think you can have 1 more power fist in the 5-man. You can have 2 in the 5-man, I believe. So get rid of one of those chainswords. He then has a lieutenant leading Hellblasters that gives lethal hits. I assume the only reason the lieutenant doesn't have a hand flamer is because he's probably not allowed one. We have a chaplain leading 10 jump intercessors, plasma pistols, power fists. The chaplain, I didn't even know that chaplain could have a hand flamer, but there you go, you learn something new every day. A Judasar with blade guard, plasma pistol. Yeah, another chaplain on foot with Death Company. Infernal pistol, thunderhammer, fine. A combi weapon lieutenant. Assault intercessor with the jump packs. I actually really don't like assault intercessor with the jump packs and Angelic Inheritors. I just don't think they do enough damage. The strength 4 really puts me off them. I guess if you're using them as a unit that scores, I'm okay with that, but as like a combat / skirmish unit, I don't like it. A Ballistus Dreadnought, a Death Company Dreadnought. I hate the Death Company Dreadnought. I don't think he does enough damage. He only has like 6 attacks or something, and he only has AP 2. It's not that great for 160 points. We have a Death Company Marines with bolt rifles. I don't know why you would take these guys over regular intercessors. Regular intercessors give you sticky objectives. Regular intercessors now get to shoot their bolt rifles twice. I guess you take them because you get a hand flamer. We've got Eradicators with melt rifles. Fine. We've got a unit of Outriders. Fine. This list is all over the place. Here's what I'm building. Partly competitive practice, partly art project with fun models to convert. Yeah, no, I think it's more fun models than competitive, right? Let me catch up on chat for a second. I hope this year's Grotmist isn't new detachments, but pass over the old ones to make them not trash. That would be cool, Colgar, but I doubt it. Stalin says, I look forward to buying 30 Vanguard veterans in 7 months. In all seriousness, I hope they get buffs to help out. Yeah, they need AP2 weapons. You're for sure right. I was actually thinking about this, right? You know when they released those kits? Like, you know when they released, like, Leviathan? And, like, you got all these Space Marines, right? And you got all the Tyranids as well. And it was like, it was less than this. I don't remember what I played for Leviathan, but I could probably find it. I think I bought it from a retailer, so I probably paid 120 for it. And I was thinking about this. It was like, do I need to get ready to get like 2 of these kits? Because these kits do nothing but inflate insanely in price. And like, for example, like 2 Ballistic Dreadnoughts was pretty useful. 2 squads of Stern Guard was pretty useful. 2 Combi Weapon Lieutenants, not so much. But I did use one of my Librarian. I did use this guy as a conversion. I still have a Gravis one on Sprue. So, yeah, I was thinking, like, these kits are so good value that if you bought 2 and you just sold off the Turnid stuff, or in this case, I think the rumor is 11th edition is going to be Orcs. If you just sold off the Orc stuff, I think you could make all your money back. So you essentially get the new kits for free because they just go up in value so much. It's just crazy, right? Because if you try and buy that, like, if you just try and buy the half on the Games Workshop site now, it costs so much, right? Like, can you even buy that half? You know what I'm talking about? Like, can you buy... Like, does this half of this box, is that even for sale on Warhammer.com? I mean, maybe that's why it goes so expensive. But you're gonna need that stuff. Oh, I mean, the Combat Patrol is half that. Yeah, it's literally half that, and it's 105. The Combat Patrol is the 5 Terminators, the 5 guys, and the 2 characters. So you get, like, another 5 guys, 3 more characters, and a Ballistic Dreadnought. Yeah, I mean, the saving is insanity, actually, isn't it? I think the same thing happened with the... Like, this is the box before, right? This is the Indomitus box. Where, like, you still can't buy a Judasar on his own. I don't think you can even buy a Blade Guard, like, Judasar. No, you can't buy him on his own. Blade Guard Ancient. No, you can't buy him on his own. It's so stupid they can't buy them on their own, man. Of course people are going to sell them for crazy money on eBay. Of course. Buy 2, wait for 12th edition and sell what you don't use and make money. I'm not really looking to make money. I just don't want to get screwed, man. Like, I just don't want to have to pay so much when... Like, we know it's going to go up in value. Like, every single time it's gone up in value where it's going to cost double. Like, if you don't get the starter box, it's going to cost you double. So could you get 2 starter boxes, and if you don't care about the other half, sell them and then just sort of break even and not get screwed and have to pay double? I watched your videos. Do you think I should buy Bile Predators? I think my opinion is everything that's Firstborn is being Legends in 11th edition. It's only 7 months away. I think it's super risky. I haven't been buying Firstborn stuff this entire edition. It's super risky. So Bile Predators are super risky to buy. It's insane to me that they don't have standalone releases. Yeah, I mean, that's my point, right? If you miss out on one of these characters, or imagine down the line, you need to have 2 Gravis apothecaries, whatever they're called. Apothecary biologists. There's no way to get the biologist unless you pay $105 for that box for that one character. I'm lucky, like I said, I got one on the sprue because I've never needed 2 biologists. But what if in 11th edition the biologist is really good? Or what if the Blade Guard Ancient is suddenly really good? Like, I just don't want to get screwed and be like, oh, now I have to buy a box that's $100 with only 1 character I need in it. I think some people got screwed on the Judasar. Honestly, some people are still screwed in the Judasar. Like, they just can't get them. I have a Judasar on sprue. I got very lucky. I actually got 3 from last edition because I got 2 sets, and then my friend Andrew doesn't play Space Marines, and he bought the box and he gave me the Judasar. But yeah, I mean, Judasar on a sprue is it's $50, man. By the time you put postage in there, yeah, it's $50. That's crazy. I guess that's what happens when he gets locked away in $100 box set, right? Alright, so Captain with Vanguard Veterans. Cool unit. Not sure how much damage they're going to do with all flamers. Death Company Captain with jump packs. Fine, they'll do some damage. Hellblasters, I like them. With the Lieutenant for the lethal hits, I kind of like it in Angelic Inheritors. Chaplain with jump intercessors. It's fine. I mean, it's mortal wounds. It's +1 to wound. It's decent. Blade Guard, I actually don't like Blade Guard in Angelic Inheritors because they are only Strength 5. I don't think Strength 5 is a meaningful break point. I think Strength 7 is the really meaningful break point. Strength 6 is somewhat decent, but Strength 7 is the real meaningful break point for our melee, so I don't like Blade Guard in this detachment. Another unit of Death Company on foot with a Chaplain, I guess +1 to wound, but nothing super exciting, just like a single Thunderhammer. The Combi Weapon Lieutenant. Jump Intercessors, already said I don't really like in Angelic Inheritors, especially... I mean, I don't overly like them led, but I dislike them unled. A single Ballistus Dreadnought, the Death Company Dreadnought that, again, I don't like it. Death Company Marines on foot that I don't like. Eradicators are fine, and Outriders... I stopped playing Outriders in Angelic Inheritors as well because of their Strength 5 on the charge. I don't like them. Come in, Annabella. It was 10 o'clock you went to bed last night, Annabella. It's 9:30 now. What's going on? Are you actually closing your eyes? You are?
I went to put in a different your story, but when I looked at your room, I got a bit scared.
Okay. Alright, so I think I'm going to actually go and put her to bed, guys. So, I think there's improvements to be made here, McPatson. I get it that you like flamers. Oh, my other son's up as well now. I can hear him. Come on, Mikey. Mikey. Come here. Come here. I'll give you a cuddle. Alright, what's happened is you have probably woken up. Oh no, everybody's awake. Alright, guys. Enjoy your evening. Thank you so much for tuning in to the show. Sorry tonight has been a disaster. I'll see you next week. Dad's gonna come lie down with you guys, okay?
Okay.
Come on then.
Could I come in Mikey's bed? It might make him a bit happy.
I think you should be in your own bed, but we'll see you guys later. Good night. Come on.
Bye.